Charlie Hudson is back. And after everything that happened in Hudson and Rex, that sentence feels almost impossible to believe. For an entire season, fans had to watch Rex work with a different detective, while one question kept coming back again and again. Would Charlie ever return? Now, the answer appears to be yes. John Reardon is returning as Charlie Hudson for Season 9, and this comeback could completely change the future of the series. But there is one major problem. Rex has already built a new bond with Mark Hudson. So when Charlie walks back into Rex's life, who will Rex trust? And more importantly, what unfinished business is Charlie bringing home with him? For longtime fans of Hudson and Rex, Charlie Hudson was never just another detective. He was the heart of the series. From the very beginning, the partnership between Charlie and Rex gave the show its unique identity. Charlie trusted Rex in dangerous situations, Rex understood Charlie without needing words, and together they solved cases that seemed impossible. Their relationship was built on something much deeper than a normal police partnership. They were family. That is why Charlie's departure was so difficult for viewers to accept. When John Reardon stepped away from the series, many fans wondered if the show could really continue without him. Season 8 tried to answer that question by introducing Luke Roberts as Mark Hudson, Charlie's brother. Mark became Rex's new partner, and the series moved forward with a different kind of relationship at its center. To be fair, Mark brought something new to the story. He wasn't simply Charlie with a different face. His personality, his approach to police work, and his connection with Rex created a new dynamic. There were emotional cases, difficult investigations, and moments that showed Mark was capable of becoming an important part of the team. But for many viewers, there was still something missing. It wasn't necessarily the cases. It wasn't even the detective work. It was Charlie and Rex. That connection had become one of the biggest reasons audiences fell in love with the series. Rex wasn't just Charlie's police dog. He was his partner, his closest companion, and often the one character who could sense when Charlie was struggling before anyone else noticed. Then came the biggest surprise. Charlie wasn't simply forgotten. The story left the door open for his return, and now Season 9 appears ready to walk straight through that door. John Reardon is coming back as Charlie Hudson, and that immediately raises a huge question. Why now? Charlie didn't leave under normal circumstances. His story was already connected to his missing brother Jack, and his decision to search for him took him far away from St. John's. That means his return doesn't have to be a simple reunion where Charlie walks back into the police station and everything goes back to normal. In fact, it could be much more complicated. Charlie may be returning because there is still unfinished business waiting for him. And that is where Season 9 becomes really interesting. Imagine spending months away from your old life, trying to solve a personal mystery, only to come back and discover that everyone has changed. Your brother has taken your place. Your old team has moved forward. And the dog who once followed you everywhere has developed a completely different routine with someone else. That is exactly the emotional conflict Season 9 could explore. Because Rex has changed, too. During Season 8, Rex had to adjust to Mark. They worked together. They learned how to understand each other. Mark became someone Rex could rely on, and Rex became an important part of Mark's life. So what happens when Charlie suddenly returns? Will Rex immediately run back to Charlie? Will he stay loyal to Mark? Or could Rex somehow balance both relationships? That question alone could create some of the most emotional moments of the entire series. And there is another layer to this. Mark is Charlie's brother. So this isn't simply a story about two detectives competing for the same position. It is a family conflict mixed with a police partnership, and Rex is standing right in the middle of it. The writers now have a chance to do something very different. Instead of removing Mark from the story just because Charlie is back, Season 9 can bring both brothers together and let their differences create new tension. Charlie knows Rex better than almost anyone. Mark has spent an entire season building his own relationship with him. Neither man is automatically wrong, and neither one can simply erase what happened while Charlie was gone. That makes Charlie's return much more powerful. Because the real question isn't just whether Charlie Hudson is back. The real question is whether he can return to the life he left behind. And if he can't, then what exactly is waiting for him in St. John's? Season 9 could answer that question while also giving fans the reunion they've been waiting for. But before Charlie can truly settle back into his old world, there is still one unfinished mission standing in his way. And that mission could be the reason his return becomes far more dangerous than anyone expects. Charlie Hudson may be coming home, but that doesn't mean everything is going back to the way it was. In fact, his return could create more problems than it solves. After spending so much time away from St. John's, Charlie has unfinished business that could pull him straight into another dangerous investigation. And if Season 9 wants to make his comeback meaningful, the story can't simply pretend that Charlie never left. There has to be a reason he returns, and that reason could be connected to his brother Jack. The last major chapter of Charlie's story left him searching for Jack in South America. It wasn't just another police case. It was personal. Charlie wasn't chasing a criminal because it was his job. He was trying to find someone from his own family. That changes everything. When a detective spends years solving other people's problems, it can be easy to forget that he has problems of his own. Charlie has always been the person who runs toward danger when everyone else is trying to escape it. But searching for Jack forced him to deal with something much more personal. And now, if Charlie returns, fans are going to want answers. Did he find Jack? What happened during the search? Why did Charlie decide to come back? And most importantly, is his return permanent? That final question could hang over the entire beginning of Season 9. Because Charlie might not be returning simply because he misses the police station. He could have one final responsibility to take care of before he can finally move forward. And that creates a very interesting situation. Charlie could come back to St. John's expecting things to feel familiar. But they won't. The police department has changed. His brother has changed, and Rex has changed. For Charlie, the biggest shock may not even be seeing Mark behind his old desk. It may be seeing Rex respond to Mark like a true partner. That could hurt. Charlie and Rex had years of memories together. They survived dangerous situations, solved impossible cases, and developed a level of trust that didn't need words. Charlie knew Rex's behavior almost instinctively, but Rex also has an incredible ability to adapt. He didn't stop being Rex when Charlie left. He simply learned how to work with someone new. And that is where the emotional conflict becomes powerful. Charlie may expect Rex to immediately return to their old routine, but Rex doesn't know how to erase the time he spent with Mark. There could be hesitation, there could be confusion, and there could even be moments where Charlie realizes that he isn't the only person Rex trusts anymore. That could be difficult for him to accept. At the same time, Mark could feel something completely different. He may understand that Charlie and Rex have a history he can never replace, but after everything he has experienced with Rex, Mark also has a bond with him now. So what happens when both brothers are standing in front of Rex? There doesn't have to be a villain. There doesn't have to be a dramatic fight. Sometimes the most emotional conflicts happen when everyone has a valid reason to feel hurt. Charlie could believe that Rex is his partner. Mark could believe that he has earned his place beside Rex. And Rex could simply be trying to understand why the world he knows is suddenly changing again. That is exactly the kind of emotional story that could make Season 9 stand out. But there is another reason Charlie's return matters. Fans didn't just miss the character, they missed the energy of the original partnership. There was something special about watching Charlie walk into a dangerous situation with Rex right beside him. The two seemed to communicate without speaking. Charlie could look at Rex and know something was wrong. Rex could react to Charlie's smallest movement. That chemistry became the emotional foundation of the series. Season 8 proved that the show could continue without Charlie. But Season 9 has the chance to prove something different. It can show what happens when the old world and the new world collide. Charlie doesn't have to destroy everything Mark built. Mark doesn't have to disappear. And Rex doesn't have to choose one brother and reject the other. Instead, the writers can use this complicated situation to create a new chapter. Imagine Charlie and Mark being forced to work together on a case. They already know each other's strengths and weaknesses because they're brothers. But that also means they know exactly how to push each other's buttons. Charlie may be more experienced with Rex. Mark may have a completely different approach, and Rex may respond differently to each detective. That could create tension, humor, and emotional moments all at the same time. But before any of that can happen, Charlie has to finish what he started. His search for Jack may have changed him. His time away may have given him a new perspective. And his return could force him to ask a question he has avoided for a long time. Does he really want his old life back? Because sometimes coming home doesn't mean returning to the past. Sometimes it means realizing that the past is gone. And if season 9 follows that direction, Charlie's return could become much more than a simple comeback. It could become the beginning of his biggest personal story yet. And waiting for him at the center of it all is Rex, the partner who never forgot him, the partner who also learned to live without him. And when Charlie finally stands face to face with Rex again, we may discover that their reunion is not going to be as simple as fans imagined. There is one question that could define the entire beginning of season 9. What happens when Charlie Hudson walks back into Rex's life? For years, Charlie and Rex were a team. They had a rhythm that felt almost impossible to replace. Charlie knew when Rex was about to react. Rex knew when Charlie was in trouble. They trusted each other without needing long conversations or explanations. Then Charlie left, and Rex had to move forward. Mark Hudson stepped into that space, and slowly, something unexpected happened. Mark and Rex developed their own partnership. It wasn't identical to Charlie and Rex, but that was never really the point. Mark wasn't trying to become Charlie, he was building something different. And that could make Charlie's return much more complicated, because when Charlie comes back, he isn't returning to an empty space. He's returning to a partnership that already exists. That creates a situation where everyone has something to lose. Charlie could feel like he has finally returned to the partner he never wanted to leave behind. Mark could feel like the new relationship he worked hard to build is suddenly being questioned. And Rex could be caught between two detectives who both care deeply about him. But there is something important to remember. Rex isn't simply a police dog who follows whoever is assigned to him. He has emotions. He remembers people. He reacts to changes. And throughout the series, Rex has shown that he can form powerful bonds with the people around him. So his reaction to Charlie's return could be one of the most emotional parts of season 9. Maybe Rex immediately recognizes Charlie and runs toward him. Maybe there is a quiet moment where Charlie realizes just how much he has missed his partner. Or maybe Rex hesitates. And honestly, that could be even more powerful. Because if Rex doesn't immediately fall back into the old routine, it would show just how much has changed. Charlie might suddenly understand that while he was away, life continued. Mark became part of Rex's world. The team changed. The cases changed. And Rex changed too. That doesn't mean Rex loves Charlie less. It simply means their relationship has entered a new chapter. And that is where the writers have a huge opportunity. Instead of making season 9 a simple Charlie is back story, they can explore what happens after the reunion. What happens when the excitement wears off? What happens when Charlie realizes that Mark isn't leaving? What happens when Mark realizes that Charlie isn't going anywhere? That could create an incredibly interesting brother versus brother dynamic. Charlie and Mark may have different personalities, different ways of handling cases, and completely different ideas about how Rex should work. Charlie knows Rex through years of experience. Mark knows Rex through everything they experienced together during season 8. Both relationships are real, both matter, and that means there may not be an easy answer. The smartest move for the series would be to keep both brothers involved. Charlie doesn't have to replace Mark. Mark doesn't have to replace Charlie. Instead, the show can turn them into an unusual detective team. Imagine two brothers working on the same case while Rex moves between them. Charlie might notice one clue. Mark might notice another. They could disagree about the suspect. They could challenge each other's theories. And because they are brothers, their arguments wouldn't feel like normal workplace disagreements. They would be personal. Charlie could accuse Mark of approaching a case too carefully. Mark could remind Charlie that rushing into danger is exactly what caused problems in the past, and Rex could be the one character who understands both of them. That would bring back something fans love about the series while also giving the show a fresh direction. But there is another major issue. Charlie left for a reason. He wasn't simply taking a vacation. His search for Jack was important enough for him to leave everything behind, so when he returns, he may not be the exact same person who left. That could affect how he works, it could affect his relationship with his family, and it could affect his relationship with Rex. Charlie may now have a stronger understanding of what he is willing to risk, or he may become even more determined to protect the people he loves. Either way, his experiences could make him a different detective, and Rex may be the first one to notice. Dogs often react to changes in people before anyone else does. If Charlie is carrying emotional weight from everything that happened with Jack, Rex could sense it. That gives the show another emotional layer. Charlie doesn't necessarily have to explain everything. Rex could simply stay beside him. And that is what made their relationship so special in the first place. Sometimes the strongest moments between Charlie and Rex don't need dialogue, they just need trust. But Season 9 won't only be about Charlie and Rex. There is another person who could become extremely important to this story: Mark. Because Mark isn't just the replacement detective anymore, he has become part of the team. He has built his own relationship with Rex, and now he has to figure out where he belongs with Charlie back in the picture. That could lead to one of the most interesting questions of the season. Can Charlie and Mark actually work together? At first, the answer may be no. They could clash, they could compete, they could even disagree about Rex. But eventually, something bigger may force them to put their differences aside. Because when a serious case threatens the people of St. John's, personal feelings have to wait. And if Charlie and Mark are forced to work together with Rex between them, Season 9 could create a partnership nobody saw coming. Not one detective and one dog. Not two brothers fighting for control. But three partners learning how to work together. And that could be exactly what makes Charlie's return feel like more than nostalgia. It could become the beginning of something completely new. But there is still one thing fans are waiting to discover. Before Charlie can truly settle into this new reality, there may be one final piece of his old life that he has to confront. And that could put his reunion with Rex in serious danger. So Charlie Hudson is finally coming back. But the biggest question isn't just whether we're going to see Charlie and Rex together again. It's what happens after that reunion. Rex has changed. Mark has become an important part of his life. And Charlie has been away long enough to realize that he can't simply walk back into St. John's and expect everything to feel exactly the same. That is what makes Season 9 so exciting. We could see Charlie and Mark working together, fighting over cases, challenging each other's decisions, and slowly discovering that having two Hudson brothers on the same team might actually make the series even more interesting. And then there's Rex. Will he immediately return to his old partnership with Charlie? Or will he continue to share that special bond with Mark? Maybe the answer won't be as simple as choosing one detective. Maybe Rex will prove that there is room for both of them. But Charlie's return also comes with unfinished business. His search for Jack changed him, and whatever happened during that journey could have a major impact on the person who walks back through those doors. So Season 9 isn't simply bringing back a familiar face. It's bringing back a character with a story that still needs to be finished. And if the writers handle this comeback carefully, we could get the emotional Charlie and Rex reunion fans have been waiting for, while still keeping Mark's story alive. After everything this show has been through, Charlie's return feels like the beginning of a completely new chapter. Now I want to know what you think. Are you excited to see Charlie Hudson back with Rex? Do you think Charlie and Mark can actually work together? Or do you think the two brothers are going to clash? And most importantly, who do you think Rex will choose when Charlie finally returns? Let me know your theory in the comments. And if you're a longtime Hudson and Rex fan, make sure you subscribe because Season 9 could bring some major surprises. The moment we get new trailer details, cast updates, or story information, we'll break it all down. Charlie Hudson is back, Rex is waiting, and this time, things may never be the same again.